This episode, we're in Ancona, a hidden gem perched on the Adriatic coast where history, the sea, and culture blend effortlessly. Andiamo. Ancona, the capital of Italy's Marche region, is a city steeped in over 2,400 years of history, perched on the Adriatic coast and shaped by its maritime heritage. Locally known as Piazza del Papa, the square was created in the 15th century and served as Ancona's medieval civic heart, where the three historic districts converged. This long, narrow, terraced square received its current name in 1860 in honor of the plebiscite that united the Marche region with the Kingdom of Italy. And today, it's a lively gathering spot full of cafes, restaurants, and bars, particularly vibrant in the evenings. The Prefettura, housed in the historic Piazza del Governo, was built in the 14th century as the seat of civic government. Since the unification of Italy in 1861, it has served as the provincial prefecture, symbolically anchoring the central government in Ancona. Situated atop a grand staircase in the piazza, this Baroque church was designed by Carlo Marchioni and built between 1761 with its consecration in 1788, replacing earlier medieval churches. Its facade remains unfinished above, while the interior features a single nave with side chapels adorned by stucco statues and medallions. Founded by Greek settlers from Syracuse around 387 BCE, Ancona's name derives from the Greek word ankon, meaning elbow, a nod to the distinctive bend of its promontory, Monte Conero. This natural feature gave the city its unique port layout and strategic importance throughout history. Built in 1827 by architect Pietro Ghinelli in a refined neoclassical style and inaugurated with the Rossini operas, it remains the largest theater in the Marche region and the 13th largest in Italy. Severely damaged in 1943, it was closed for nearly 6 decades before reopening in 2002 after a modern restoration, blending its historic facade with a spacious, innovative interior design conceived as a theater piazza by Danilo Guerri and Paola Salmoni. Built starting 1539 and consecrated in 1548, only its sober Renaissance facade and portal remain from the original structure. Most of the church was profoundly rebuilt between 1771 and 1776 by architect Francesco Maria Chiarafoni. Over the centuries, Ancona evolved from a Greek outpost into a Roman colony, then a Byzantine stronghold, and later a self-governing maritime republic that rivaled Venice and Amalfi in trade and naval power. This splendid portal is the sole remaining feature of the former Chiesa di Sant'Agostino, originally built in the 14th century but largely destroyed. Only this richly sculpted entrance survives. Commissioned in 1460, it's a masterpiece blending Gothic and early Renaissance elements, featuring statues of Saints Monica, Nicola da Tolentino, Simpliciano, and the Blessed Agostino Trionfi, topped by a lunette showing Saint Augustine rejecting heretical books. This site preserves the ruined apse and characteristic bell tower of the former church of San Giacomo, heavily bombarded in 1944 and never rebuilt in the post-war years. According to historical records, a church existed on this site since the 13th century. Francesco Podesti was a renowned Italian painter from Ancona. Born in 1800 in Capodimonte, he began life in this modest 2-story house. As of 2023, the Comune d'Ancona has approved a motion to transform the birthplace into a museum and cultural center. Perched on a pentagonal artificial island in the harbor, the Mole was designed by Luigi Vanvitelli and built between 1733 and 1743 to serve as a quarantine station, warehouse, and fortification for the port city. Connected to the mainland by 3 bridges, it originally stood isolated over the canal known as the Mandracchio. The Mole now serves as Ancona's cultural hub, hosting exhibitions, concerts, performances, conferences, and a tactile museum for the visually impaired. The natural harbour of Ancona has been active since the 16th century BC, evolving through Greek, Piceni, and Roman influence when Emperor Trajan expanded the northern pier around 100 AD. Today it stands as a major Mediterranean hub. Over 1 million passengers transit annually on ferries to Greece, Croatia, and Albania, while the volume of containers have boomed, earning its nickname, the Gateway to the East. This bronze statue is a 1934 replica of an ancient bust from Minturno. It honors Emperor Trajan, who financed the city's Roman harbor expansion. Porta Pia is a monumental Baroque gate that forms one of Ancona's historic city entrances. Built between 1787 and 1789 at the behest of Pope Pius VI, it was designed by architect Filippo Marchionni to provide a more convenient coastal entry to the city, replacing the old hillside Porta Capodimonte. Today, Porta Pia offers a scenic vantage point, popular with visitors for sunsets and photo opportunities along the waterfront cycling path. Built in the mid-15th century for the wealthy merchant Dionisio Benincasa, the palace houses the Biblioteca Amatori, a research library open by appointment only. Founded in 1323 and dedicated to Santa Maria Maggiore, the church gained its current name after a monumental staircase built in 1447 connected it to the lower street level. In 1454, the architect Orsini crafted the impressive Venetian Gothic portal, complete with 20 carved heads and statues of Franciscan saints, and a lunette depicting Saint Francis receiving the stigmata. Architect Francesco Maria Chiarafoni elevated the facade and remodeled the interior in late Baroque style, also adding cloisters and a monastery. After secular uses as a Napoleonic barracks, hospital, museum, and library, the church was reconsecrated in 1953 and restored post-World War II. Throughout the Middle Ages and Renaissance, Ancona was known for its independent spirit. It maintained its own currency, merchant fleet, and legal system under a republican government until the 16th century, when it was absorbed into the Papal States. Built during the Augustan era and later expanded under Emperor Trajan, this amphitheater could seat around 8,000 to 10,000 spectators over 20 tiers arranged in 3 levels. After abandonment in late antiquity, it was repurposed by medieval structures and largely forgotten until its rediscovery in 1810. Originally dedicated to Saint Bartolomeo and built around 1520 above the edge of the cliffs, this church was extensively redesigned in 1760 in a refined, light-filled late Baroque style. Its current name dates from 1847, when the Armenian Benedictine nuns took over. Perched atop Guasco Hill, the cathedral occupies the site of an ancient Greek acropolis and a temple to Venus Euclea, protector of sailors. Originally a 6th century basilica dedicated to San Lorenzo, it was rebuilt as a cathedral between 995 and 1015, enlarged into a Greek cross plan in the late 12th and early 13th centuries, and crowned by a 12-sided Gothic dome, one of Italy's oldest and most elegant, attributed around the year 1270 to Margaretone d'Arezzo. Despite damages from world wars and the 1972 earthquake, restorations over the 19th and 20th centuries have preserved its austere medieval beauty while sustaining its status as the religious emblem of the city and the seat of the Archdiocese of Ancona Osimo. Dreaming of your next vacation? As an experienced travel professional, I would be happy to help you plan a tailor-made itinerary. Visit me online at somethingaboutdavid.com for any inquiries. Hidden beneath Ancona's cathedral, the crypt of the patron saints was remodeled in 1796 by a local architect. The small barrel-vaulted space preserves urns with the relics of Saints Liberius, Marcellinus, and Palatia, making it a revered stop on cathedral tours. Throughout its history, the crypt survived intact and has reopened to visitors after restorations of the cathedral. This bell tower, adjacent to the medieval cathedral, dates primarily from the 12th to 13th century, echoing the Romanesque Byzantine architectural style of the church. Today, visitors climb the panoramic staircase to appreciate sweeping views of Ancona's harbor below, explore the crypts, admire historical art and architecture, and soak in the cathedral's spiritual significance overlooking the Adriatic. Built in 1706, the Baroque church is distinguished by its striking copper dome and circular interior. Inside, you'll find a rare 12th to 13th century Byzantine-style crucifix and evocative paintings of Saints Pellegrino and Teresa. Housed since 1958 in the Palazzo Ferretti, this museum presents an immersive archaeological journey through the periods of the Marche region. The church here features a dramatic curved facade of Istrian stone and a sweeping semicircular staircase echoing Ancona's harbor. Dating back to at least the year 1270, this striking Romanesque Gothic palace once housed Ancona's Council of Elders and served as the municipal seat until 1947. After wartime damage, it hosted the Civic Art Gallery and university faculty before being restored and returned to use by the City Council in 2011. Though devastated by earthquakes and bombings during World War II, the city has rebuilt while preserving its layered architectural history, from Roman ruins and medieval churches to neoclassical palazzi and rationalistic 20th century buildings. Also known as the Fontana delle Tredici Cannelle, this 16th century Renaissance maniera fountain, designed by Pellegrino Tibardi, features 13 water spouts formed by 12 bronze masks of satyrs or fauns, and a central stone mask of a charging knight. Its local tradition says if you drink from the fountain, you'll return to Ancona. Today, Ancona blends seafaring traditions with civic pride, regional cuisine, and a strong sense of place, retaining a character that's distinct from Italy's more touristed cities. Erected in 1758 in Baroque style, this fountain features a cherub atop 3 concentric basins, surrounded by 4 seahorses and dolphins, symbols of storms and safe navigation revered by local mariners. Originally located near the Teatro della Muse, it was moved to Piazza Roma in 1908, and after wartime damage and decades of wear, it was finally restored in the year 2023. Piazza Roma is a central urban square created in the late 19th century following the demolition of Ancona's Renaissance walls after its annexation to the Kingdom of Italy. Piazza Roma also hosts lively morning markets, making it a local hub of commerce and social life. The Mercato delle Erbe is housed in a striking Liberty-style iron and glass structure built in 1926 by engineer Federico Federiconi, using metal salvage from decommissioned ships, some even from the Austro-Hungarian vessel that bombarded Ancona in World War I. It replaced the old open-air market in Piazza delle Erbe and quickly became a central hub for local producers, stallholders selling fresh fruit, vegetables, regional specialties, and seafood, and continue to operate under the cast iron vaults today. In January 2024, a major regeneration project began, designed to preserve the market's heritage while adding a covered piazza, flexible retail spaces, cafes, and cultural venues, slated for completion by March 2026, the market's centennial. It remains still one of Ancona's most architecturally and socially significant landmarks, a living symbol of local identity and everyday life. In 2024, a brass cobblestone was installed to commemorate local-born Clara Sereno, who was arrested in Rome in 1943 and deported to Auschwitz. Her case was memorably mentioned by Adolf Eichmann during his 1961 trial, highlighting that they interrogated Clara Sereno but got no answers, after which she vanished. Corso Garibaldi, also known as Corso Nuovo, was created in the late 19th century, serving as the central commercial access that connects Piazza del Plebiscito to Piazza Roma. Lined with boutiques, cafes, and historic palazzi, it follows a modern Turin-style grid and remains Ancona's busiest pedestrian promenade, running through all 4 historic districts. This marble statue of Count Camillo Benso di Cavour was unveiled on the 7th of June 1868, funded by public subscription in Ancona and its province. Piazza Cavour is Ancona's largest square, designed soon after Italian unification between 1862 and 1868. Originally enclosed by medieval city walls and city gate, later removed in the 1920s, the square expanded with green gardens covered by palms and benches, becoming a major social and transit hub, linking historic neighborhoods and the port-to-coast promenade. This circular war memorial was built between 1927 and 1930 by architect Guido Cirilli and officially inaugurated on the 3rd of November 1932 in full fascist-era ceremony. Crafted from pale Istrian stone, it rises atop 2 semicircular staircases and is supported by 8 fluted Doric columns. Its base is adorned with helmets and swords, with a small altar at its center, and engraved verses from Giacomo Leopardi's Alitalia on the frieze. Nearby pine woods and sea views make it a popular gathering spot, especially on national holidays and for panoramic sunset vistas. Installed in 1956 and later modernized, this panoramic glass-mounted elevator links Piazza 4 Novembre down to the Passetto beach, covering 46 meters vertically in 3 stops. A beloved urban beach for locals, Spiaggia del Passetto lies beneath the Monumento ai Caduti and is accessed by a grand staircase or the panoramic elevator. It features a small stretch of white pebbles and rocky coastline, with visitors advised to wear water shoes due to the rocky seabed and occasional coastal erosion. This naturally formed sea stack off the Passetto beach is named as such because its outline resembles a papal chair. Erosion sculpted it into a rocky platform connected to the mainland by smooth coastal rocks, and it's a popular scenic feature along the shore. Locals live closely with the sea, whether through fishing, ferry travel, or simply strolling along the lungomare, underscoring the city's enduring relationship with its coast and its complex past. This steep scenic footpath from Via Panoramica descends through the Parco del Cardetto to reach the rocky Grotto Azzurra and its pebble coast. After geological safety works, it was reopened in 2024, featuring reinforced walkways, railings, and signage for public access. The Grotto Azzurra is a rocky coastal stretch featuring a small sea cave and colorful fishermen's grottos, carved into the cliff by locals. It's accessible by sea or footpath, with a scenic but steep descent. Carved into the rocky cliff from the mid-1800s through the 1960s, over 500 man-made caves were excavated by local fishermen called grottaroli as private shelters for boats and summer retreats. Each has its own brightly painted wooden door, built-in boat ramps and decks made from reclaimed materials, creating a picturesque coastal village embedded in nature. This provocative giant mural, commissioned in 2008, depicts the Madonna and Child with their faces upside down. Painted by street artists Osmo, M-City, and Run, it sparked controversy for its bold imagery and remains a landmark of Ancona's public art scene, though it has deteriorated over time. Located in the historic center, Piazza Pertini sits adjacent to Piazza Stamira. Two spaces often merge into one commercial and events district. In the spring and summer, it becomes a lively host of sporting events, music festivals, and the annual Ancona in Sport celebration with dozens of food stalls. Thank you for visiting me once again on this visit to the Marche region. Until next time, alla prossima! Did you enjoy this episode? Please hit the like button and subscribe to be in the know for future episodes.